Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new 2018 Honda Odyssey. With available Honda Vac, it always bats cleanup.
Welcome to New York, Yankee Stadium. Final game of the regular season between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. The Yankees have won first two of these three games. Blue Jays have scored a total of 1 run in 2 ball games. John Gibbons would like to finish up on a positive note. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons. Some of the regulars not in the lineup to start the game. No Josh Donaldson, no Russ Martin, but you have Jose Bautista in the lineup, and his Blue Jays career has been phenomenal. 10 seasons, he's hit 288 home runs as a Blue Jay, 765 RBIs. He's played 1,234 games, and he will finish up as the DH here this afternoon. 10 great seasons for Bautista in a Blue Jays uniform.
They will face 24-year-old Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery will make his 29th start of his first major league season, and it's been a success for Montgomery. He's 9-7 with a very respectable .396 earned run average. The lefties only walked 50 batters this season. The Yankees are 13-15 in his 28 starts this season, winning each of his last 4 starts. He has made 1 start against the Blue Jays in his career. That was 6 innings back at Toronto. He held them to 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. The tall lefty comes right over the top with a good curveball.
He has done a good job of racking up the strikeouts this season. He has 141 strikeouts for the season. Take a look at the defense. Clint Frazier is in left field, Hicks in center, and Austin in right. Up the middle, Torres and Castro. Installing Castro missed a big chunk of the time. He's a key to their success in the postseason.
I think he is. He's had 107 starts at second base this season. He will get the start today. Word is he's going to get 1 at bat and then come out of the game, but he'll get the start again today. What a phenomenal player. They got him from the Cubs basically for nothing, and he's turned into a star for the Yankees.
He's hitting .301 for the season. Montgomery's set. Here's the first pitch to Hernandez, and it's up and away, and we are underway. Teoscar Hernandez has really opened up some eyes here in the month of September. 26 games, he has 8 home runs and 20 RBIs. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
We saw Jordan Montgomery in spring training, and it was towards the end of spring training. Everybody say, hey, don't be surprised if he makes the jump and makes the starting rotation. He's had a great spring. Remember, there were about 7 or 8 candidates fighting for that 5th starter spot for the Yankees, and this young man made it.
Last year, he split the season between AA and AAA. He went 14-5 with a .213 earned run average, and certainly you had to give him an opportunity to make the team in spring training. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Hernandez. Teoscar was acquired by the Blue Jays in the trade with Houston for Francisco Liriano. And it looks to be a good first step for the Blue Jays, getting a little bit younger and more athletic. There's a called strike 3, that curveball right at the top of the strike zone. Another strikeout for Montgomery, his 142nd of the season.
There it is. Get ready for a big bender. He's got a good arm. He's got good movement on all of his pitches, and he's going to finish off a lot of batters with that hard curveball. It's got a lot of movement to it.
Richard Urena getting the start at shortstop today. He's a switch hitter. He'll bat right-handed against Montgomery. Urena came to the big leagues from AA. He did a nice job in AA, played very well in the field especially. The bat did not translate into a lot of success for him, but he's held his own here in the major leagues, got up to a real good start, and then the league started to make some adjustments to him.
He's had his moments here in the month of September. I think he has shown a lot that he's an elite prospect for the Blue Jays. Probably won't make the team next year, but probably start in AAA. Continually move up the ladder of the minor leagues. He's only 21 years old. You know, he's got a chance.
Played in 129 games in AA. Had 510 at bats and hit .247. There's another curveball, another strikeout for Montgomery.
One of those adjustments that pitchers have made to Richard Urena is to throw him more breaking balls with 2 strikes. So he's going to have to go back and learn how to hit the breaking ball. There's the good strike sharp breaking ball right over the top, and it's in the strike zone. He's
Two strikeouts so far for Montgomery.
Montgomery has that classic drop and drive type of wind up and delivery where he loads up on that back leg and really drives towards home plate and lands out over his front leg. That's where he can get a lot of spin, a lot of break on that curveball, and he throws right over the top.
This is Justin Smoke, the first baseman. Smoke has 2 at-bats against Montgomery. He's 0 for 2. Been a bit of a struggle for Smoke in the latter stages of this season, but an all-star season indeed. 38 homers, 90 RBIs for Smoke, and there's a deep drive to left center. Clint Frazier battling the sun. He stays with it, makes the catch. Quick inning for Jordan Montgomery. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. He's in his 10th season as the manager of the New York Yankees. He's one of 6 Yankee managers to lead the team for at least 10 different seasons. He's done a terrific job, and he's got his team headed to the postseason once again. They'll play in the wild card game on Tuesday night right here in New York. Take a look at the lineup. Starlin Castro, he's playing at second base. He's got a 301 average, got a 7-game hit streak, 10 for his last 25. And right behind him, Matt Holliday makes his first start in this series. He's the DH this afternoon. He's hit well against the Blue Jays, 10 for 33 with 4 doubles, 2 home runs, and 8 RBIs for Matt Holliday.
That is the lineup that Brett Anderson will face. This is his 13th start of the season, 7th as a Blue Jays, 4-4 with an elevated earned run average. Last time out, 5 innings against the Boston Red Sox. He only gave up 3 earned runs. Blister problems sent him out of that game early. Last time he faced the New York Yankees, that was his last start with the Chicago Cubs. He only lasted a third of an inning, gave up 5 earned runs and 6 hits.
Aaron Hicks, the switch hitting center fielder. Hicks has been plagued by injuries, 2 different stints on the DL this season with an oblique injury. Takes a strike, it's 1-1.
I think he's a key for the New York Yankees as they head into the postseason. He had taken over basically the everyday job in center field for this team with his offense and his defense and his base running. 10 for 15 in stolen bases. Then he had that oblique injury and had to be shut down for a long time. If he's healthy, he'll be their everyday center fielder.
Yeah, he brings a lot to the table defensively and the quality as a switch hitter. Just off the plate outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 29-year-old Brett Anderson got off to a good start with the Blue Jays. Jacoby Ellsbury, the other option at center field for New York. That's past Barney into left field for a leadoff base hit for Hicks. Let's take a look at the defense. You notice Barney's at third. No Josh Donaldson. Carrera, Hernandez, and Refsnyder in the outfield. Justin Smoke has gotten a lot of attention this year because of his bat, but he certainly has played as well in the field.
our final chance to pump the tires for Justin Smoke to win the Gold Glove over at first base. His 145th and final start at first base. He has a .998 fielding percentage. He's made 2 errors all season long, so he's basically played every day. He's made 2 errors. Been outstanding.
Little tapper out in front of home. Montero throws out Torres on the play. Hicks goes to second. Ronald Torres starting at shortstop this afternoon. Montero throws him out. Montero's making his 22nd start behind the plate for the Blue Jays. There's some thought that he might be thinking about retirement after this season. He's had a good career, most of it spent in the National League. So that'll bring Starlin Castro to the plate. We mentioned Castro hitting .301 for the season. He can go 0 for 2 this afternoon and still hit .300. And as Pat mentioned, the thought is he'll get one at bat and then they'll make some substitutions.
Some of the regulars that they have in there, Castro and Todd Frazier, possibly one at bat, and that is it. Just give them a chance to get an AB. Let me tell you, 300 is a lot different than 299. You know, Joe Girardi wants his second baseman to finish at 300, and I think he's going to give him every opportunity to do that.
He has had 2 seasons in which he's hit 300. His best season in 2011 with the Cubs, he hit .307 with 207 hits. Then he hit 300 in 2010. But he is right at .301 as we speak. Ground ball. Goins waits for it at second. He throws out Castro. He's 0 for 1. So Hicks goes to third. Goins starting at second for the 42nd time this afternoon. Matt Holliday, he gets a start this afternoon. He has not played in this series so far.
Spent some time on the disabled list, but since being off that DL, he's been okay. Trying to get that timing back. He's had a couple of home runs and 12 RBIs since coming off that DL. That's at 55 at bats in 16 games. He might be another key for this team as they head into the postseason because he has postseason experience. Been there, done that. But they got to get him right. He's had some problems on the DL in June. He was also in the DL in August.
He had a viral infection that really knocked him out for quite a while, and that just zapped him of his strength.
He had a lumbar strain also, and I think that's where it zapped a lot of his power.
Matt's now 37 years old. This is his 14th big league season, his first in New York. He spent the previous 8 seasons with the Cardinals. This is a fly ball. That's going to be out of play. Robert F. Snyder is in right field today. Bautista is the DH this afternoon. Matt Holliday began his career in Colorado. He played 5 seasons with the Rockies and put up some big numbers. He had 216 hits for Colorado, hit .340, and won a batting title in 2007. Another pitch away is fouled off.
No question he can hit, and he's a good RBI man. They have him hitting 4th today, trying to clean it up. He had his moments this year. He had a 17-game hit streak earlier this season. There are his numbers in his career, his 14th big league season. .299 average.
.299 average, isn't that something? Anderson strikes him out. Hicks gets a leadoff single. He's stranded at third. He played an inning in Yankee Stadium, no score. Jose Bautista bats when we come back. Blue Jays in the top of the second, and these are his rankings all-time in franchise history with the Blue Jays. He's second in home runs, third in RBIs, third in walks, second in runs to Carlos Delgado, and he's second to Jesse Barfield in outfield assists.
Home runs, Delgado's number one. RBIs, Delgado and Wells in that race. Base on balls, Delgado, the only guy ahead of him in that. He has been fun to watch over the years, if this is indeed his last game as a Blue Jay. He has had some memorable hits, memorable home runs, memorable things that he's done on the baseball field. One of the best things that we saw, we all know about the home runs, it's whenever a pitcher seemed to knock him down or try to assert their authority, if you will, to Bautista, he always seemed to come up with a home run.
Yeah, you know what? So many great players have done that over the years, and I can remember Frank Robinson in his heyday. Boy, people didn't even want to knock him down. You didn't even want to wake him up because he'd come up and do some damage, much like Jose.
Yeah, just like it. Dig a little bit deeper that back foot and do something like this.
There's a liner down the left field line, off the wall. Frazier plays it perfectly. Bautista starts his afternoon with a line single off the wall in left.
Well, if he could have got that ball up just a little bit more, that would have been home run number 24. An absolute laser down the left field line from Bautista. Jordan Montgomery wants that ball away. It's in, and he's still quick enough to pull it down the left field line. That's what we remember about Bautista, that quickness to be able to get that inside pitch.
Jose is playing in his 66th game here at Yankee Stadium. He has 18 home runs now, 11 double, or excuse me, that's not a double, but 18 home runs in 66 games here. This is Miguel Montero.
That was a rope. That's how we remember him right there. Balls that are hit like that, and you're barely out of the batter's box, and it's hitting off the wall.
Ball on the strike to Montero. Miguel is now 34 years old, from Caracas, Venezuela. He pulls that one foul. Began his career with the Arizona Diamondbacks, got into 6 games in 2006. Next year he got into 84 games, became an everyday player with the Diamondbacks in 2009. Was an all-star for Arizona in 2011. Hit .282 with 18 home runs and 86 RBIs.
Had a couple of really good years with Arizona.
On the ground. That is Tyler Wade. Goes to second. Torres back to first. Double play. And Montero limping across the base at first. He had a groin injury earlier in the season, and he's not running too well right now.
All right, not at all. He got out of the box. I'm not sure if he slipped or not. It looked like he had a chance to beat it out, but he was not running very well up the first base line. You mentioned he was with Arizona, and a young pitcher by the name of Brett Anderson was with that organization. And he broke it down about 60% of the way there, like something happened to him.
Yeah, we had some problems with a groin injury. He injured it in Chicago. Appears to be okay. Rob Refsnyder getting a start in right field. Refsnyder began his season with the Yankees. Those are his numbers combined between New York and Toronto. 176 for the season.
Played mostly the infield for the Blue Jays. He's had some time in the outfield. Gets the start today in the outfield.
Pops this one up behind second base. Tyler Wade makes the catch. Easy inning for Jordan Montgomery.
Season tickets are now on sale. Purchase season tickets and automatically become enrolled in My Blue Jays. Learn more at bluejays.com. Buck.
Thank you very much. And the schedule begins on March 29th with these New York Yankees at Rogers Center for a season opening 4-game series. The Yankees will then come back in June for a 2-game series, June 5th and 6th. First pitch swinging is Chase Headley, and he flies out to right. Nice play by Rob Refsnyder, making his first start in the right field this season.
Came up as an outfielder, signed as an outfielder, and played most of his games in the infield. Will get his first start in the outfield as a Blue Jay.
We want to give you another idea about the Yankees. They will visit Rogers Center. Their third trip will be July 6th, 7th, and 8th, the weekend series. There's another first swing. Ball driven into center field. Todd Frazier flies out to center field. 2 quick outs.
How about interleague play next season? Blue Jays are National League East, right?
National League East next year. Washington will be in to Rogers Center in June, 15, 16, and 17, a weekend series. The Philadelphia Phillies, Blue Jays will play 3 in Philadelphia at the end of May. The Mets come into Rogers Center for a 2-game series, the 3rd and 4th of July. Canada Day this year, the Detroit Tigers will be there for Canada Day. That's a Sunday this season. Other teams, the Phillies come into Rogers Center for a 3-game series at the end of August. Urania throws out Romine. Quick inning for Brett Anderson. No problem at all for Anderson. Just 5 pitches in the 5th.
To Montreal for 2 spring training games in 2018. March 26th and 27th, they'll take on the St. Louis Cardinals at Olympic Stadium. For tickets, visit bluejays.com/Montreal.
St. Louis Cardinals at Olympic Stadium. That's a couple of night games there, and then Blue Jays will go home. Enjoy an off day before opening up against the New York Yankees. Tyler Wade at second base for the Yankees. Miguel Andujar takes over after Frazier flying out to center field, so he's at third base now. And I'm sure we're going to see more changes as the day continues. Ezequiel Carrera goes after the first pitch. Carrera, Barney, and Goins against Montgomery here. In the top of the 3rd, Jose Bautista has the only hit for the Blue Jays. Aaron Hicks has the only hit for the Yankees.
Jordan Montgomery's got a nice breaking ball. He's got that curveball that he can use to finish off anybody, both lefties and righties. There was some talk that, maybe they'll move him into the bullpen for the postseason, but I don't think that's going to happen. He's been a starter his whole career. I don't think that would be fair to him or the Yankees to have him pitch out of the bullpen.
Now ball up the middle. Wade backhands, quickly fires in time to retire Carrera. The Yankees are really playing good baseball as they head into the postseason. They'll play here on Tuesday night against the Twins, and their starters ERA second only to the Cleveland Indians in that department. Isn't that funny? Starters ERA, Indians, Yankees, Astros, Red Sox, all in the postseason.
The only team missing, Minnesota.
Darwin Barney.
That's where it counts. I mean, the Blue Jays were right there last year. Remember, their starters carried them to the playoffs last season. They had a high percentage of the wins that the team had as a whole. It came from the starters. They had the great earned run average. I mean, you get great starting pitching, you'll figure out ways to score runs.
Yeah. When your starters are pitching well, you're going to pitch deeper into the game. Your offense has more opportunities to score runs and give you the lead. Everybody's always trying to figure out shortcuts to winning. There are no shortcuts to winning. You get good starting pitching and you win.
You play good defense. You can't get the good starting pitching, then kick away every ball and put yourself behind the 8 ball. And then have enough power and a good bullpen.
High pop up, shallow right field. Tyler Wade going out. Second baseman is under it and makes the catch. When you think about the Jays' success last year, they used just 7 starters. And then you see the difference in the ERA, a full run higher this year, the whip higher, opponent's batting average 35% higher, 35 points higher, and the number of starters double
to 14 starters this season. And now you take that ERA and you place it over 162 games. I mean, that's going to play out, and that's why the records are going to be so much different. Blue Jays won 89 games last season and made the wild card. This year they sit at 75.
And everybody talks about the Blue Jays offense, how it's off this year. Well, it wasn't good last year in the second half of the season. The offense was at its best in 15. No question about it. They were a juggernaut offensive team. In 16, the starters, they were the strength of the ball club. And the offense, especially in the second half of the season, really tailed off. But they pitched so well. I think they had that one stretch of 26 consecutive games of 6 innings or more from their starters. And like 2 earned runs or less. It's hard to lose games when you get that kind of pitching.
And if you hit the amount of home runs that the Blue Jays hit, and you've got the closer like they do in Osuna, you're going to win a lot of close ball games, which they did last season. This year, they haven't won a lot of close ball games. They have not done well in the extra innings this season.
High fly ball deep to right. This has got the distance. Is it fair or foul? And it's a foul ball. Tyler Austin, he is down the right field corner. He looked like he may have gotten the glove on it, but slammed into the wall. And kind of got to the wall as the ball hit his glove all at the same time. He appears to be okay. But he was full speed when he got into that foul territory. And there's only about 3 feet of territory from the foul line to that wall.
If you're a young player and you're playing for a team that's going to the playoffs, you want to make a name for yourself. You want to show that you're going to play the game the hard way and the right way. And he plays it hard as he runs right into that wall. Looked like his head hit the padding of that wall right there. And he was down for a moment. Looks to be okay now. But that's what you have to do. You're a young player. You want to make a name for yourself. Go out there and play the game the right way. Play hard.
Joe Girardi and a trainer, Steve Donahue, out to check on him. He got the answers they were hoping for, so he is okay and will continue. It's a full count to Ryan Goins with 2 outs. Goins, a number 9 hitter. Breaking ball, and they makes the play. Quick inning for Montgomery. He's faced the minimum through 3 innings, allowed just 1 hit.
And Tabby mentioned Josh Donaldson not in today's starting lineup, but he did take time to speak with the media, and the topic, his future with this organization. Donaldson's contract, you know, he is under club control until 2018, after which time he then becomes a free agent. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, Donaldson asked to meet with GM Ross Atkins. According to Donaldson, he wanted to express to the front office how much he enjoyed his time as a Blue Jay and his desire to remain with this team for a very long time. He said if there was a possibility of that happening, he would be, quote, tickled pink. Donaldson said the purpose of the meeting wasn't to force the team's hand, but to let them know how he felt. Sportsnet.ca's Shai Davidi was told by Atkins that they were happy to receive that news, and while he praised Donaldson, Atkins was cautious, saying very little beyond that. Again, Donaldson said he didn't put any pressure on them. He knows he'll be in demand and that he feels like he's proven what he's needed to prove on the field. For more on this story, Buck, you can read Donaldson chat with Shai Davidi right now on Sportsnet.ca.
Thank you very much, Hazel. That's very interesting. And Josh Donaldson is a great player. No question about it. MVP in 2015. Any team that has him would certainly want to keep him. But the Blue Jays have a big picture to look at. And that big picture includes Troy Tulowitzki signed for 3 more years, Russ Martin signed for 2 more years, and they're both over 30 years old. And the question the Blue Jays have to ask themselves, do you want to have a long-term commitment to 3 of your key players that are all in their early 30s? That's a tough question.
Okay, as a fan and as a guy who watches basically every game, I'd like to see him end his career here because he's an exciting player. He can hit the ball as well as anybody, hit the ball as far as anybody, and he's a pleasure to be around and watch every single day. As a GM, I'm thinking, are we going to win next year? I think if you win next year, you keep him here. If you don't think you can win next year or the year after, I think you have to start planning for the future. And that could be turned into 3 really good prospects.
Well, and those are the things, you know, emotionally you'd like to say, okay, well, he's a good player. We're going to bring him back. He's exciting. He hits home runs, and he's always going to be in the MVP discussion. That part of it's easy. The tough question is, how much of your resources can you commit to 3 players that are in their early 30s? That's the question that they have to ask themselves.
Well, we have to find the number, first of all. What would that number be? Would it be $20 million a year? $25 million a year?
Yeah, it's going to be at least 20 million.
It's going to be a free agent after next season.
Yeah. And Donaldson will be 32 in December. Martin will be 35 in February. Tulowitzki will be 33 in October. Smoke will be 31. And, you know, the one thing we have heard consistently from the front office is we need to get younger and more athletic. Tyler Austin, the right fielder who slammed into that wall down in the right field corner, is behind 1-2. Frazier struck out on a curveball by Brett Anderson. So those are all the things the Blue Jays are going to resolve. They will have pro scout meetings next week. They'll have strategic meetings the following week, and they'll make all of their plans for the off season. There's another curveball and another strikeout.
And you know Josh's name will come up. I mean, what a second half to the season he has put together. Time and time again, he has come up with big hits, big home runs. He's played third base. He's played hard. I mean, that's tough to say we got to give that up, but it might come to that, unfortunately.
Well, Tulowitzki, he is signed for 3 more years plus a 4th year. Check that, 3 more years in total. He's got a buyout in the 4th year, 2021, for $4 million. Russell is signed for 18 and 19. Both players are signed for $20 million. And you would think that Donaldson's going to be in that same range, $20 million.
He's arbitration eligible this season.
Josh's contract, $17 million, and he has 1 more year of arbitration. So he's going to go over $20 million in arbitration.
Yeah.
So there's your discussion. The Blue Jays, according to Cotton's baseball contract, have committed $89 million to next year. without Stroman, without Sanchez, without Pilar, all going to arbitration.
Osuna.
Osuna's
arbitration eligible.
Osuna, Pilar, Loop will be in his 3rd year of arbitration. Carrera in his 2nd year.
Goins is having a career year.
Ground ball to short. Across the diamond in time. Hicks is retired. 3 up, 3 down. That's 9 in a row retired by Brett Anderson since the leadoff single to Aaron Hicks.
Season begins Tuesday as the 10 best teams slug it out for baseball supremacy. The MLB postseason right here on Sportsnet. And Buck fans will see these very New York Yankees host the Minnesota Twins in the American League wildcard game.
That'll be Tuesday. It all starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it'll be Severino for the Yankees against Irvin Santana for the Minnesota Twins. Santana is 6-10 against the Yankees. Severino's only made 1 start against Minnesota. It didn't go well. Lasted just a 3-inning outing. 3 runs on 5 hits.
What were we talking about the other day? The home team in that wild card game haven't had a lot of success.
Right. I think they've only won. We were talking about it 3 times in 10. No, it's not been 10. It's been what, 7 wild card games?
5 years times 2. I think there is 10.
Yeah. Teoscar Hernandez, it's a high fly ball to right. Austin is there, 1 out. The National League wild card game will take place on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. The Rockies will be in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks, and Zach Greinke is going to start for Arizona. He's 17-7 with a 9-5 career record against the Rockies. And then the ALDS division games will begin on Thursday. Both division series in the American League will be played on Thursday. The Red Sox will be in Houston to play the Astros. So far this season, they have split the 6 games. They are playing today in Boston. And how about this matchup? Chris Sale and Justin Verlander. That's must-see TV, folks. The wild card winner between Minnesota and the Yankees will take on the Cleveland Indians, and more than likely that'll be Corey Kluber. That's on Thursday. 2-0. Richard Urania takes a strike. The National League Division Series begin on Friday, October 6th. The Cubs will be in Washington to take on the Nationals. And then the wild card winner will be in LA to take on the Dodgers. And Friday, October 6th, you'll have the opportunity to watch all 4 games. Games 1 in the National League Division Series, both series, and games 2 in the American League Division Series. So there'll be 4 playoff games on Friday. And then they go Saturday. American League will have off on Saturday. National League Division Series will be played. Games 2 will be played on Saturday.
So we will see pitchers like Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, it's going to be a who's
Zach
who.
Greinke, John Lester,
Verlander, Arrieta. It's going to be terrific. Pomerantz bounced back and had a good outing after the Blue Jays roughed him up. He pitched well, wrapping up the AL East for the Red Sox. 3-2 pitch to Urena inside for ball 4. A 1-out walk. No score in Boston in the middle of the third.
They won the division yesterday with their win over Houston. That's the first time in their history they've won back-to-back division titles.
Justin Smoke. Smokey flat out to left field. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of good baseball games in this upcoming month of September.
Division started in 1969. Obviously, there's just one league before then. Then they split into divisions. So that's the first time that the Red Sox have gone back to back ever. Hard to believe. They finished first in 1915 and 1916. But it's about division, splitting them up.
Pomerantz won his 17th game for Boston yesterday. And Smoke is set for the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball. Passed Wade into right field. Urena makes the turn. He's going to go to third. Looked like a double play ball. Tyler Wade got ahead of himself, was thinking about getting it to second and missed the ball completely. It's a base hit for Justin Smoke. Urena goes first to third on the play.
Tried to be a little bit too quick with this. You can see he's playing right behind second base in the shift, but then just whiffs on the baseball. Goes down to catch it, leaves his feet. Never got a glove on it. Smoke will take it. That'll be a base hit. Blue Jays are in business first and third with just 1 out, and Bautista at the plate.
Jose hit a rocket off the left field wall for a long single, his first time up, leading off the second. 1 out. High pop up into center field. Hicks is coming in now. Tagging at third is Urena. Here's the throw to the plate. It is offline and late. Bautista knocks in the first run of the game with a sacrifice fly to center field. His 65th RBI of the season, and the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
927th of his career, first one in this game. Aaron Hicks was deep in center field. That ball was plenty deep to score the run, but he still thought he had a shot at getting the runner at the plate and overthrew the cutoff man. And when he overthrew the cutoff man, Justin Smoke tagged up from first base. He was reading the throw all the way. Look how deep this ball is. No chance to get Urena. He runs too well. This ball is airmailed to center from center field. So Smoke reads it, sees that that ball is over the cutoff man's head. No chance for him to cut it off. So he's just going to tag up and get himself into scoring position. Heads up baseball.
So Bautista picks up the RBI. 766 now as a Blue Jay. Miguel Montero hit into the double play his first time up. Two outs. One more thought on the Red Sox. Pomerantz was 17-6. Sale was 17-8. Boston is the first major league team to have a pair of left-handed pitchers each win 17 games in the same season. Since the Oakland A's did that in 2002. I think it's really funny that that 2002 Oakland A's team, that was the team that Moneyball was based on, and they didn't even mention Barry Zito and Mark Mulder in that movie or the book.
And those were the two lefties who won at least 17 games.
23-5 for Zito, 19-7 for Mulder, and once again, don't discount the impact of starting
pitching. They also had a pretty good right-hander that they pitched in between them.
Tim Hudson was his name. Little roller toward first. Montero will be retired, but the Blue Jays break out on top. Jose Bautista with yet another RBI for the Blue Jays, his 65th of the season, and the Jays have a 1-0 lead. Had a base hit his first time up and a sac fly, and now he's given Darwin Barney a hug that would make you think that he is out of this ball game. And it's kind of interesting, maybe not, but it looks like he's going to the bat rack and picking up all of his gear. And that's a pretty good indication that he's going to pack it up, and that might be it for Bautista in this game, and maybe as a Blue Jay. He finishes up 1-for-1 with an RBI and a base hit in his final game here at Yankee Stadium this afternoon. Ronald Torreyes, well, what a valuable player he has been for this Yankee team, filling in on all the infield spots. And Torreyes has just gotten big hits and played key plays for the Yankees all season long.
You look at him and you say, well, this guy, he can't hurt you. You look at, not a real big guy, not a real strong guy, but his heart is about as big as this table that we're sitting at. He goes out there and plays the game the right way. Plays anytime Joe Girardi asks him and comes up with big base hits, like you said.
He has made 43 starts at second, 25 at short, 16 at third, and he is one of 5 major league players to start at least 15 games at each of those positions. Invaluable in this day and age when teams have to carry 12 and 13 relief pitchers. Torreyes hits this one back to the mound. Anderson takes his time, throws high, but Smoke stretches to make the play.
Luckily, Justin Smoke is 6'4" and he's got those long arms for the big reach. Anderson caught the ball, set himself, threw one up and in, but Smoke got it. Tell you, we got to start talking about the way Justin Smoke has been playing defense this year. He made an error in April. I think he made another one beginning of this month.
Beginning of September, I believe. Yep.
That's it. He and Joe Mauer and Eric Hosmer will be in the final vote for the Gold Glove in the American League at first base. Wouldn't that be a capper for Smokey?
Yeah, it really put the icing on the cake for a terrific season to win a Gold Glove award. Tyler Wade, the second baseman. If indeed Jose Bautista's season has come to an end, he would finish up batting .203 for the season. That would be the lowest batting average in franchise history for a qualified hitter. Aaron Hill in 2010 hit 204. Two balls and 2 strikes to the Yankees second baseman Starlin Castro. Started this game, went 0 for 1, grounded out, and then he was out of the ball game. Third baseman Todd Frazier also started, got 1 at bat, and he has left, and that's a base hit for Tyler Wade.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
What a beautiful weekend we have had here in New York. 3-day games, and the weather has been superb all 3 days. Today it is 18 degrees and couldn't be a nicer day. What a way to wrap up the regular season. Matt Holliday struck out his first time up. 1 of 3 strikeouts for Anderson so far.
He just set down 10 in a row before that base hit, and I thought Urania was going to come up with that ball.
There's a stolen base for Wade. And the Yankees make it close. John Gibbons has looked like he's going to ask for the video room to have a look at this one.
Wade can really run, and I think Brett Anderson sniffed that out. So Wade goes on first movement. The veteran Anderson throws behind him. And it looked like the ball bounced just a little bit. Urania catches the ball. This might be a better look right here to see if he gets him before. Yeah, catches it maybe just a little late. Not sure. Looks like they're going to look at it though.
Yeah, you can see Wade starting to pop up, which indicates he's hit the base before the tag is applied. But there, he doesn't get to the base. That's the reason they're going to look at it. Urania blocked him off the base. Had his foot in between the base and the tag.
Never got to the base.
Nope.
See, we need that super slow-mo right there to make sure we get it.
Well, that's a terrific part of our broadcast. We talk about it all the time. Joe Girardi is out to talk to Kerwin Danley, the home plate umpire. Not sure what Girardi's concern is. But now Urania surely blocked the base runner from ever touching the base. And you would think this is going to be an out call, and it is. So Wade is called out on review. It'll be a caught stealing 1-3-6.
I don't think he meant to do that. Stick his foot there to block him off of the base. I think the throw just took him there, and his foot happened to be in front of the base, but it worked out for the Blue Jays.
And that was standard operating procedures for second baseman and shortstop for a long time. Bobby Grich, the Angels, used to do it all the time. Just put his foot right in front of the base, and that certainly would keep you from sliding head first.
Yeah, that or drop your knee down right there and cover up that base. You'd never get to it.
The Angels were the best at that. Doug DeCinces used to do it all the time at third base on the pickoff throw from the catcher. I mean, he'd just drop a knee in front of that bag at third. It's a high fly ball to right. Ref Snyder is there. Holliday's retired, and the Blue Jays got benefit of a review. Caught stealing for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
Thank you very much, Hazel May, and it is a gorgeous day. How many people would think they would be sitting in t-shirts on October 1st watching baseball in New York? That is Miguel Andujar made a nice play to throw out Rob Refsnyder. Andujar took over for Todd Frazier at third base.
Good looking prospect. Got some power. We had a chance to see him in spring training. He took over for Frazier. Andujar spent this past season at Trenton and Scranton. That's their AA and their AAA team.
First pitch strike to Ezequiel Carrera. You know, this is the final game of the season. We want to make sure we thank all of the people that help us put on these TV broadcasts over the course of the season. It is a terrific crew that we have the benefit of working with every single day. And I hope you fans appreciate what you have, because we bring you every single game. And the Blue Jays, of course, are very popular from coast to coast. And Pat and I get the benefit of sitting here and watching all these great people do their job. The camera people, the audio people, the tape operators, the producers and directors, and it's just a terrific group of people that we work with. And we want to thank everybody for watching first and foremost, because we know you love the Blue Jays and you love to watch them every single day, and we appreciate all that support.
They let us know wherever we see them. The one comment that's really interesting is when fans come up and say, "You were in my living room last night," which is true. Every night they hear you and me talking about the Blue Jays.
And the Blue Jays have really maintained their popularity from coast to coast over the years, and it's been a great franchise and one that is very popular no matter where you are in Canada. Here's a fly ball off the bat of Darwin Barney. Quick inning for the Yankees. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
Our campaign, he told me one of the things he's most proud of is that he's been able to play almost every day. Even though he appeared in 158 games this season, his off-season regimen will not change. He said that's why you put the work in the winter, to be able to go out there and work through the rigors of a really grinding season. As for those career numbers he put up this year, Smoke said he knew things were clicking for him probably at the end of April, early May. He said he went back to the Justin Smoke from his pre-majors years, using his approach from when he was a young player. He stopped trying to be the power guy everyone expected him to be and just focused on being a good hitter. The season has been such a grind, Buck. He hasn't been able to really enjoy his accomplishments, but Smoke said he'll have plenty of reflecting time when he's out fishing and hunting this offseason.
Yeah, he's going to do a lot of that. I know. That's where he's going to start. That's first on his bucket list. Get the hunting boots back on and get out there and be Justin Smoke in the offseason.
Remember, he didn't have an all-star break. And if you've ever been to an all-star game, it's one thing after another. You get 4 days off, but you're busy all 4 days with the game and the home run this and the sign that and go to this and all that. He was telling me that on the flight home back to Toronto from the All-Star break, the stewardess had to come by and wake him up. He had fallen asleep. He said he didn't sleep for like 3 days down in Miami doing everything that they asked him to do. So he fell asleep on the plane, and when it landed, they had to come and wake him up.
You're home. Time to get off the plane. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Chase Headley. Hazel May gave us that great report, and she's done that all season long. We want to thank Hazel and Arash Madani for their sideline reports, pregame, postgame interviews. They've been terrific all season long, and they're part of this great team that we're fortunate enough to work with all season long. So thank you, Hazel. Thank you, Arash. A very good season once again. We also have so many producers and engineers, technicians. Dave Schick back in Toronto is in charge of all the technical aspects of Rogers Sportsnet at Rogers Center. Engineers Jamie Verbruggen and Joey Chan. We have technical directors that help switch the cameras from camera to camera to give you the different shots. Dan Brenner and Joanna Brannigan in Toronto. And the great Tom Clark is on the road with us all the time. He has been with us forever. What did he tell me this morning? We've been working together 30 years now. And we still like each other. There's a base hit for Chase Hadley. A terrific job. Part of the beauty of TV, you can hear the bat cracks, you can hear the players and their arguments with the umpires because of the great audio people we have. Andrew Stokely is with us on the road, as he is all the time at home. And Mike Hayes is with us at home and giving us this great audio, and Sean Matthews-Jones as well. And they're responsible for bringing the game into your living room every single day with great sound from the Major League ballparks around the country. And of course, television is all about pictures, and with that we have some of the best camera people in the world that work with us. Terry McAlpin and Teddy Parada, Todd Monroe, Martin Murphy, Tim Coughlin, Brian Cooney. Stephanie Dunthorpe, she's with us now. Steph's always with us on the road when we travel. There's a double play ball off the bat of Miguel Andujar. But the camera people work hard. They have a lot of fun. Willie Lipko works with us in Toronto. We have handheld cameras that bring you those action shots from Rogers Center when the pitchers take them out. Christian Kalinkowski, Mike Schaffel, Brendan Schnurr. They do a great job. And at Rogers Center, we have a RoboCam on top of the backstop, and that is run by Paul Ang, who does a terrific job. And Joe Girardi wants the umpires to look at that double play.
Out at second base. He was saying that Ryan Goins turned a very quick double play at second base, but he wasn't on the base.
Well, and what Ryan Goins did was very quick, and it can only be caught by replay, review, and now it's an EVS. And this is what the EVS people do. They bring you these replays, and we have one of the best trucks in the business when we get all of our people together. And the head guy down that truck is Mike Sparks, and he and his partner Pat Donardis are in that video room playing EVS and giving us all those great replays. Andre Zeleny, Jeff Insley, they're terrific in what they do. They're all baseball fans, and they love to put together all these great shots for you and bring you those great replays. The video is a part of handling these shadows of day games and bringing you great pictures no matter what the light is. And the video operators, Vic Bruck, James Mead, Brian Pescuso, Jordan Calcafuco, Ross Scheiman, and there's so many guys that work with us. When you see the graphics and all the great letters across the screen, that's the duet operators, Kevin Schnurr and Ron Harrison Jr. A lot of great people work with us all the time. And the Yankees got their call. Chase Headley will return to second as Goins left that bag a little bit too quickly. So it'll be a fielder's choice. Actually, it won't be a fielder's choice. It'll be a ground out. 6-4-3 for Andujar.
Yeah, just take that double play away, which is unfortunate. Now Brett Anderson, instead of 2 out, nobody on, he's got to deal with a runner in scoring position. Just a hair too quick at second base. As that left foot came off, middle infielders, they get a chance to play next to each other all season long, and they know how hard they want that ball thrown at them. If you throw a changeup to them, it's going to just mess up the timing. And right there, Ryan was a little bit too quick.
0-2, 1 out.
Good replay though by Sparky.
Of course it is.
Making us look good again.
Well, I think the one thing we have, and we have a meeting every day, and we sit in the truck, we talk about what might happen, what we'd like to happen, what we're going to talk about in the course of the game. And the one thing that we have that I think Pat and I both love is how much love the crew has for baseball. They come here every single day, and that's why you as viewers get a chance to see these great games and all the great shots, because everybody's putting their heart and soul into it every single game. From game 1 to this game this afternoon, 162.
162. They love the game of baseball. Everybody who works with us loves the game of baseball, and it shows in their work.
Anderson wants another sign. And one of the great part of our traveling crew is Jeff Whipple, who comes with us all the time and helps Scott Carson put up all those great graphics. And we'll talk about Scott later, because he's going to take an inning or two to talk about.
I think I'm off that inning.
But it's a great time for all of us, and you know, we spend 7 months together when you include spring training, and it's a great crew, a great bunch of people to work with. Smoke gets a nasty hop. He flips to Anderson. His Romine grounds on. On the play, Headley goes to third. But we have the traveling crew, we have a home crew, and we want to thank everybody that's part of it. We have Mike with us here in New York, and he's been a fixture here forever. He's up in our booth as the home plate cameraman. But of course, the crew in the truck, they're the people that make it happen. The producer Doug Walton, director Troy Clara. We also have some guys that come in and fill in from time to time. Rick Briggs Jude is a producer. Mike Mills, Jeff Mather, they'll step into that director's chair from time to time, and they pick up right where Troy left off, and we don't miss a beat. We have a great crew, and we've got a lot of depth on our roster. But certainly it's been a great season once again, and we couldn't do our job, Pat and I, without all the people we have to support us, and it's a lot of fun to work every single day.
You know what? I'm convinced we do this. We love the game of baseball, and we enjoy coming to the ballpark every day. It's the people behind the scenes who make us look good. So thank you, everybody behind the scenes. I just echo everything Buck says. You're the guys who make us look good.
We are in the bottom of the 5th. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead, trying to win the final game of the regular season this year. Ground ball off the bat of Clint Frazier. Goins to first. That does it. Blue Jays strand a runner at third. The Yankees leave one on. We'll go to the 6th. Blue Jays lead a 1-0. this afternoon, but he has put up some season as a Rookie of the Year indeed, maybe MVP, and Pat Tabler has identified his award winners for this season.
The Tabbies. Part of being an analyst, I get to make the picks at the end of the season, and the Tabbies go to Aaron Judge. I think is the MVP. Not taking anything away from Jose Altuve, Jose Ramirez, some of the other players who have had great seasons in the American League, but Aaron Judge, I think, burst on the scene in April and May, and he kept it going throughout the season, and he's carried this team to the playoffs. He's my MVP. Corey Kluber, how can you not put Corey Kluber? Everybody was ready to anoint Chris Sale and give him the Cy Young Award, but he faltered a little bit in September. Corey Kluber, when the games counted, he had that finishing kick, and he is pitching as good as ever right now, so I think he's going to win the Cy.
Owens fouls that one off. Yeah, I think you're right on. And when you think of what Judge has done for the Yankees are 31-14 when Aaron Judge hits a home run. For comparison's sake, when Altuve gets 2 hits in a game, the Astros are 42-17. So he has the same impact on his team, just in a different manner. Goins strikes out. That's the 3rd strikeout for Montgomery. And Joe Girardi has come out of the Yankee dugout. He has called for the bullpen, so that strikeout is going to be the final strikeout for Montgomery this season. So with that strikeout, he will have 3 strikeouts on the season. That will give him 144 strikeouts for the year, his rookie season. It was a good one. He can't win it, he can only lose it, but he got his work in today. He'll turn things over to Adam Warren, fresh off the DL. Warren will take over for Jordan Montgomery. Warren has pitched in 46 games, and they want to take a look at him. He is a candidate, of course, for the postseason roster, but they got to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, let's make sure he's physically okay. He was just reinstated from the 10-day disabled list before Friday's game. He had a lower back spasm, and he missed 21 games. Overall, in those 45 games, he's 3-2 with a 240 earned run average. Greg Bird will take over at first base. In this inning, Ronald Torreyes and Tyler Wade have flip-flop positions. Wade was in at second, and Torreyes was at shortstop. They have flipped positions, and now Wade's going to be playing some short.
Teoscar Hernandez takes a first pitch strike from Adam Warren. The slider misses. It's 1-1.
You know, it's interesting about Adam Warren. Remember we were talking about Starlin Castro coming over from the Cubs, and they really got him for nothing. I didn't mean that as a slight to Adam Warren. They traded Adam Warren to the Cubs to get Starlin Castro. The beauty of it is they got him back Aroldis Chapman. They traded him. Warren came back here along with Gleyber Torres and a couple other minor leaguers. So they got him back for Chapman. Then they got Chapman back.
They got him for nothing.
For nothing. So they got Starlin Castro for nothing. They lost Adam Warren for a while, but they got him back, and they got Chapman back.
Yeah, and they traded Chapman, or Chapman was traded and then re-signed as a free agent. So yeah, the Yankees and Brian Cashman, who's the senior GM in the major leagues, he's been terrific. Cashman has been with the Yankees since 1986 in several different roles, but he's the longest tenured general manager, and he has had a terrific career. There's that fastball as Hernandez strikes out, 2 away.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yankee Stadium 3 opened up in 2009. It will be the site of the American League wild card game here on Tuesday night. It'll start at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Minnesota will be here to take on the Yankees. Should be a good game. Luis Severino against Irvin Santana. Severino's really developed into one of the premier young pitchers in all of baseball.
Another one of those young players that came up through the Yankee system, developed in their own farm system. So he's got Yankee blood in him through and through. Came up, had some trouble when he first came up. There was some talk, does he go into the bullpen? Does he stay in the starting rotation? There's the youngster right there. He was throwing 100 miles an hour the other day, last Wednesday.
It's a high fly ball to left field. Clint Frazier gets there and makes the catch. Adam Warren comes in and gets 2 outs, including a strikeout. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead here in New York. Through 66 pitches this afternoon, and he was pretty sharp. He had 3 strikeouts over the course of the day. Didn't walk a batter. Gave up 3 hits, all singles. And he is in line for the win as he turns things over to the bullpen. And the first one out for the Blue Jays will be the right-hander, Luis Santos.
Brett Anderson, outstanding. He hit 10 in a row, set down before he got another hit. Luis Santos in 9 games. He was called up at the beginning of September from the minors. He was a starter down in Buffalo. But they transitioned him into the bullpen, and his stuff has played. A 287 earned run average in his 15 2/3 innings. For Santos, last time out against Boston, 2/3 of an inning, gave up hits in a run. There's Rafi Lopez, who will take over at catcher. He's been scored upon in 3 of his last 4 outings. So John Gibbons wants to give him another shot here the last day of the season. He's given up 4 home runs in those 15 2/3 innings.
Tyler Austin, the right fielder. He struck out against Brett Anderson back in the 3rd. Good fastball from Santos. Ball on the strike.
Yeah, his fastball's 91, 92. Tops out about 93. He can sink it a little bit. He's got a breaking ball. Change up.
Tyler Austin had a home run in his first at bat. He also homered on his birthday and hit a walk-off home run within his first 3 career home runs. That's getting it done early. There's a good fastball. Catches the outside corner for the strikeout. 1 away, bottom of the 6th.
Comes right after him. And Rafi Lopez frames that one up. 3 quick pitches, 1 down.
Aaron Hicks will turn around and bat left-handed for the first time. He's 1 for 2, had a leadoff single and was stranded in the first inning. Ball on the strike. The Yankees have some decisions to make, of course, as far as their postseason roster. They'll have to have their roster set for the wild card, and then they can readjust it for the division series should they advance. I mean, it's not a given that they're going to advance. It's a 1-game winner go home wild card game, and they play the Minnesota Twins. The Twins have Miguel Sano back. He has DH'd. He DH'd yesterday and is going to DH again today. So they have to determine whether or not Sano is healthy enough to be on that postseason roster. Minnesota is at home playing the Tigers. Sano is back in there as the DH today. He's 0 for 1 so far.
Thought I saw Sano ground out yesterday against Austin Romine's brother, right? Didn't he play all 9 positions yesterday? And he was the pitcher, and he faced 1 batter, and he got Sano to ground out.
Andrew Romine played all 9 positions yesterday for the Tigers. Minnesota has a 1-0 lead.
For that game, that 1 game, do you take an extra bullpen guy, or do you take an extra everyday player? Me personally, I would take the extra everyday player.
Yes.
I can get by in a series, in a 5-game series. I want that extra bullpen guy, but for that 1 game, I want that extra guy.
Yeah. And if I'm Joe Girardi, I want Tyler Wade on my roster because he can pinch run.
Because he can run.
Yeah. So put him on there. You're going to have the second catcher, of course. Ronald Torreyes is going to be on there because he's Mr. Super Utility player. Goins in the outfield grass, throws out Hicks. Nice play by the second baseman.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Brian Goins has had a fine season. Whether he's playing second or short, had a good season with the bat. Career highs in home runs and RBIs. Career highs in games played. Ronald Torreyes. Torreyes played 15 games in the Blue Jays system in 2015. Something I didn't know until I talked to Bobby Meacham yesterday, and Meacham was his manager at AA New Hampshire. Said we picked up Torreyes on waivers, put him out there, and he was okay. And Meacham was said, you know, he wasn't really good on the left side of the infield, but he was good at second base. And you could see he could swing the bat. He didn't hit much for us in 15 games, but he was one of those guys that was kind of intriguing. You say, you know what? I don't even know how small he is because he plays big. He can play defensively, and now he's learned how to swing the bat. But guys like this are invaluable in this day and age. Somebody who can play multiple infield positions, can sit for a week, come off the bench, and get 2 or 3 hits. That's an asset.
And the Yankees had Gregorius down for a while this year. I think he started the season on the disabled list. Castro has spent some time on the disabled list. So you better have somebody who can come in and get you some big hits.
Luis Santos has a good start to his outing. 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 6th to go to the 7th. Still a 1-0 game here in New York. Broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Toronto Blue Jays. We want to thank you for all of your attention with us this summer, spending a lot of time with us at the ballpark, and we hope that you have enjoyed it as much as we have to bring it to you. And we'll be back next year, and it all starts at the end of March at Rogers Center with the same New York Yankee ball club. Justin Smoke will lead things up. Adam Warren got 2 outs to end the top of the 6th.
And this is all by design, I think, by Joe Girardi and the New York Yankees with Adam Warren. You bring him in the middle of an inning because that's probably what he will do in the playoffs. He gets a couple of outs. He goes and sits down. The other team hits, and then he has to come back up and then start the next inning. Doesn't mean he's going to finish the inning, but that's probably what his job's going to be in the playoffs.
Depending where you are in the lineup, you have a couple right-handers. He can get out of that inning, and then one to start the next inning, something he might be asked to do. Domingo Germán, young right-hander, loosening up for the Yankees. The Yankees have a very good postseason bullpen because of the strikeout arms they have down in their pen.
And they might have another one on the mound right now in Adam Warren. If he passes the test and that back is okay after the spasms, after he came off the disabled list, that might be another arm with some experience down there in the postseason. They might be. Cleveland. I'm going to put the Boston Red Sox in there also, at least in the American League, might be the best equipped to go through the postseason with those big arms.
High pop up. Wade over near third base, gets there in plenty of time to make the catch and retires. Smoke. Joe Girardi has already made the call to the bullpen as Michael Saunders had been announced into the game. Domingo Germán was throwing for New York. Smoke pops out to the shortstop, and that's going to be it for Adam Warren. He goes an inning with a strikeout. We have a pitching change here in New York. Michael Saunders will bat when we come back. made his 6th appearance of the season on the 20th against the Twins. He threw 2 scoreless innings and started out with the Miami Marlins. He was picked up from Miami in a trade that included David Phelps going to Florida. So he is making his 7th appearance of the season.
He fits the MO for the Yankees in the bullpen. Hard thrower, strike thrower, but probably won't be on their postseason roster. There's just not enough spots to fill, but his fastball's got some action to it, a lot of sink to it. Upper 90s, got a curveball and a changeup. Pitched this season for the most part in AA and AAA.
Michael Saunders is pinch hitting for Jose Bautista in a DH spot. Bautista singled in the 2nd, had a sac fly in the 4th. He's out of the ball game. Bautista finishes up with 65 RBIs. He's driven in the only run of this ball game. Saunders pulls it on the ground. Bird, long toss to Herman, one away. Excuse me, 2 outs. Herman came in with 1 out. Rafi Lopez came into the game as a defensive replacement behind the plate. He'll bat for the first time. Danny Barnes loosening up for the Blue Jays. Rafi Lopez for the season, 226, 4 homers and 12 RBIs. 4 home runs and 53 at bats. Got a little pop.
I believe he hit 16 home runs in the minor leagues, so he's got a 20 home run season. That was the talk when he first came up. When you ask some of the Blue Jay people about him, they say, you know, he's got a little pop. I know he's been around. Got his first big league hit off of Clayton Kershaw. Starting to swing the bat with a little bit more authority, so they're throwing him more breaking balls.
Herman comes in and retires the 2 batters he's faced in the 7th. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays lead the Yankees 1-0. to you by WestJet, and we're going to jump way ahead to March 29th. The Yankees will be at Rogers Center for the opening game. A 4-game series with the Yankees, and then the Chicago White Sox will be at Rogers Center before the Blue Jays head down to Arlington to take on the Rangers. So that 2018 schedule will begin at home against the Yankees in a 4-game series.
In March, so mark your calendars for that. And the Blue Jays will probably get Luis Severino that night on the mound, probably against Marcus Stroman. We'll see. Until then, Danny Barnes will take over for the Blue Jays in the 7th inning. Anderson for 5, Santos, and now Danny Barnes. This is the second time that Danny has pitched in this series. He's done a good job for him. A very good ERA of about 3.5. He doesn't give up the long ball. Last time he gave up a home run was to Detroit the first week of September. So his fastball command has been outstanding. His changeup has been good, and I think the Blue Jays are really happy with the development of Danny Barnes this season.
Danny Barnes is from Manhasset, New York, out on Long Island, and he went to Princeton University. He played there for Scott Bradley, a former Yankee player himself, a Yankee catcher at one time. Tyler Wade lifts this one to deep center field. Carrera is there, makes a nice running catch in left center for the first out of the inning. Tyler Wade robbed of extra bases by Carrera.
You know what made that so nice is initially the sun was right in his eyes, and he did a good job of shading his eyes with his glove hand to pick up that baseball. It wasn't hit high enough to get up into the sun, but it was into the outfield. Carrera stayed right with it. There's a lot of room in left center field. There he is shading his eyes, and he hauls it in front of that 399 sign.
Matt Holliday. Holliday, the DH this afternoon, 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
This is Danny's first full season in the major leagues, and it's a long year. I think there was a period about a month or so ago where he ran into a wall and was just worn down. The Blue Jays had to give him some time off, and he's come back.
This ball is going to go. Ball's hit into the seats by Matt Holliday. His 19th home run of the season is a game-tying home run here in the bottom of the 7th.
The Bronx Bombers are at it again. This time it's Matt Holliday. And the last time that Danny Barnes gave up a home run, you got to go back to September 8th against Ian Kinsler and the Detroit Tigers. Until this pitch, he wanted it away, and it came right back over the inside part of the plate.
The 11th home run that Barnes has given up this season. It's a game-tying home run to the veteran Matt Holliday. Holliday with 19 home runs and 64 RBIs. 1-1 game. One out. Greg Bird getting his first plate appearance of the game. Chase Headley started at first. Headley went 1 for 2. Bounced in front of home plate. Greg Bird has battled injuries throughout his career, and he has come back and put up some big numbers. Impressive 8-game hit streak for Bird, including 4 home runs. He walks, a 1-out walk. We mentioned our great crew, and we certainly want to include that great stats man that we share the booth with all season long, Scott Carson. And it's interesting for Scott Carson. This is his 25th season, Scotty. And it's been a terrific run, and Scott does a great job with us each and every day, bringing all the great stats and preparing us all for this game. And it's been a joy to share the booth with you, my friend, for a long time.
That's a lot of flights and a lot of cab rides. 25 years, big guy. Huh? What do you think?
Best part of the day, the cab rides and the pregame meeting for us, and we get a chance to share everything. And Scott Carson's been a big part of what we do for a long time. 25 years. That's a long time. And he still likes it. That's what's important. Come into the ballpark every day. Sometimes it can be kind of a drag, but boy, when you get to the ballpark and the game starts, there's nothing like it.
He lucked out his first year. They won it all, right? They won it all, and you want them to win again. You want to see it again, don't you? I think we all do.
I think once you get that taste in your mouth, that's what everybody expects. But it's been a great run. Scott Carson, we want to thank you for all your great years of service, and we look to share the booth with you for many, many more. Two and one to Miguel Andujar. Pops it up over near the Yankees dugout. That's going to be way out of play. Andujar grounded out. It was an unusual ground out. It was originally a double play, but it got reversed on the video review. So flying ball into center, and Hernandez not going to make it. He short hops and knocks it down. Bird will go to third. They had to kind of hold up to make sure that ball wasn't caught. Hernandez short hopped and it bounced away from him, and runners end up at second and third with one out.
Andujar's best tool is his power, and it looks like he powered that ball to the outfield. Hernandez circled around it. First the pitch, changeup that is up, and he powers it into the gap. He circled around it and then tried to block it. He got a piece of it right off of his hat and kept it in front of him. If not, Greg Bird's going to come around to score. Gets a piece of it, knocks it down. Carrera was there to back it up. But Teoscar Hernandez playing center field in this whole series.
You see the shadows and how challenging it is for the outfielders right now to pick up the baseball off the bat. And you look in from center field, it is dark in center field, and that's what he has to look into. Try to find where that ball is coming to. And he did a nice job of keeping Bird from scoring. Now the infield is drawn in for Austin Romine. Ground ball to third. Barney will check Bird back. Romine grounds out. 2 away.
Available Honda Sensing in the all-new 2017 CR-V, designed to help keep you safe wherever you play. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Final Sunday of the regular season here in New York. Blue Jays season will come to an end. The Yankees will continue to play. They'll play Tuesday night in the wild card game against the Minnesota Twins right here at home for New York.
You can see that sun out there really giving Teoscar Hernandez and Ezequiel Carrera some problems trying to pick up the pitch.
Up the middle. Goins behind the bag at second. Throws out Clint Frazier, and the Yankees will strand runners at second and third. But a one-out home run off the bat of Matt Holliday has tied the score at 1-1 as we head to the 8th.
fans, what does United by Sport mean to you? Tell us on social media for a chance to win amazing experiences courtesy of Sportsnet. And Buck, I want to take the time to personally thank you and Pat for your support. You two are the glue that keeps this crew together. So thank you and have a terrific off season.
Thank you, Asa. We appreciate that very much. And it has been a pleasure working with everyone. And we are the most fortunate people in the world. We get to work with a great bunch of people and get to come and watch a baseball game every day. Doesn't get any better than that. But this time of the year, you just think, okay, well, next year's going to be better. And we hope that's the case for sure. Domingo Germán came on in relief and retired the 2 batters he faced to end the 7th. Montgomery started Warren with a good inning, and now Germán. Rob Refsnyder makes a breaking ball. 2-1 now. Refsnyder making his first start in right field. Brian Tepera loosening up for the Blue Jays as we are in the 8th inning.
Blue Jays in another close ball game. They've played a few of those, haven't they, this year?
Yes, they have. They have played a few of those, and Kendrys Morales has not been able to play the last couple of days because of a sore right Achilles tendon. But he's had a decent season his first year with the Blue Jays. Morales finishes up with a .250 average, 28 homers and 85 RBIs. Refsnyder swings and misses. He's headed for first, and he's going to get there. It'll be a strikeout on a wild pitch as Refsnyder reaches first. That's the way the Blue Jays start the top half of the 8th inning.
Whatever it takes, get on base. When you don't expect to get on base, take advantage of it. Germán with that wicked breaking ball. Romine doesn't get down to block that. He tries to catch it for some reason instead of blocking it, keep it in front of him, and now he's lost it. And that's all Refsnyder needs to get to first base. Blue Jays trying to break this tie.
Ezequiel Carrera takes ball 1. Another man we'd like to thank for his efforts. He was filling in from time to time for Scott Carson and Big Mike DeAngelis, who was with us on several different occasions. And Big Mike, we want to thank you for all your help with us this summer.
Great job, Mike. Look forward to working with you again.
Plus, whenever Big Mike's with us, we feel like we have our own personal bodyguard.
I don't know about you, partner, but I feel safer.
Ball and a strike. A 1-1 game. We're in the 8th inning. Two and 1 now. Refsnyder can run a little bit, and Austin Romine has not had a good season throwing.
2 for 28.
2 for 28.
This is a tough call right here if you're John Gibbons. If you start that runner, it's tough to see right now. If you play hit and run, it's be tough on Carrera to make contact.
Not running. 3-1.
Especially how hard Germán can throw the ball. Now, if it gets to 3-2, you might start the runner just to stay out of the double play. Hope he makes some contact. Maybe do something. Get the ball into the outfield, send that runner first to third.
Now it's 3-2.
We'll see.
Fastball at 96.
Blue Jays haven't done a real good job this year of going first to third on base hits. So maybe you start the runner, give him a little bit of a head start in case there is a ball that is pulled into the outfield. He looks like he wants to run.
There he goes. Fouled off. He was moving on the pitch as Carrera fouls it off, so Refsnyder will go back to first. As he does, he's watching Luis Rivera, the third base coach, give the signs.
And if he gets the steal sign, I hope he was watching who was covering also. It was Tyler Wade, the shortstop, on that pitch. Looked like an off-speed pitch that he fouled off. Wade, the shortstop, was covering on the attempt by Refsnyder.
Ball 4. Pitch was down, so the first 2 reach here in the 8th inning. A strikeout and a wild pitch allowed Refsnyder to reach. Now the walk to Ezequiel Carrera. Darwin Barney, the batter. Barney has had his problems with the sacrifice bunt.
He had one of the best plays, I thought, this year. Remember that, when he bunted a couple of times and missed, and then they let him swing away and he hit a home run.
This time he squares the bunt and takes his strike. You mentioned it's hard to see right now. That was a breaking ball. Barney has 4 sacrifice bunts this season.
If he sacrifices, what you want to do is you want to make that third baseman fielded and the heart is in. He will read the ball off the bat.
Bunted foul by Barney. This is that old trick he pulled earlier. Bunt 2 foul and then hit a home run. Let's see if he's going to break out that play again.
I'll vote for that.
Ben Heller listening up for the Yankees. It's a 1-1 game. The Blue Jays have just 2 hits. The Yankees have 5. Bunting again with 2 strikes, and it's a beauty. Barney delivers the sacrifice bunt to perfection and moves runners to second and third with 1 out.
Makes it even tougher with 2 strikes. Now you're just trying to get the ball down. What was really interesting about this, watch when he bunts the ball. He runs right in front of the catcher, and the catcher's got to slow down, so he's not going to go out there and get it and get the runner at third base. His only play is over to first base. Shades of Carlton Fisk in the World Series in 1975.
Ed Armbrister, he bumped into them, had problems with it, and Barney gets his 5th sacrifice bunt of the season. Ryan Goins has delivered all season long in these situations. Big swing and a miss on the first pitch. Ryan is 0 for 2. For the season, he's driven in 61 runs.
Infield in. I think you take a shot here and trying to run the contact play. You've got a runner at second base that if he's out, you'll still have a runner in scoring position if he comes over to third base. Got to take a shot.
Foul into the seats. Ryan Goins, look where he is in the runs batted in category for the Blue Jays. He's 5th, and he has been their best hitter with runners in scoring position for the season, batting .333 with runners in scoring position. He's in a hole, 0-2. Little dribbler out in front of home, and that's going to get to a run. Good call, Pat. Play the contact play, and Refsnyder scores the go-ahead run.
Yeah, if he hesitates at all, he is not going to score. But because they are running the contact play, he got a great break off at third base, and when the catcher has to leave home plate to make the play, he can score the tie-breaking run. Again, even if he's out at the plate, Carrera's going to go to third, so you still have a guy at third base. Watch the break by Refsnyder, even on this little chopper out in front of home plate. He's coming on any contact. He's coming home. And the Blue Jays break the tie with that little dribbler by Ryan Goins. He'll get another RBI.
Another RBI, make it 62 for Goins. And the Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead.
That's small ball. I mean, that's the smallest ball right there. A little tapper out in front of home plate to score the run.
Now Darwin Barney did his job. He dropped down an 0-2 sacrifice bunt. Put the runners at second and third, and Refsnyder comes in to score. Teoscar Hernandez. Barney with his 5th sacrifice bunt put Goins in that position to be able to drive in another run. Refsnyder, with his good speed, scores from third base. The ball went about 20 feet, and Goins gets an RBI.
Take advantage of those mistakes. A strikeout to end the, well, excuse me, to begin the inning, but the ball's not blocked, so he's at first base. Then a walk. Now you got first and second. They still haven't hit the ball. Sacrifice, like you said, about 20 feet. And then a tapper out in front of home plate that went about 15. So they have a run, and if you add all those hits together, they don't reach the mound.
Hernandez strikes out. That ends the inning, but the Blue Jays take the lead. They lead it 2-1 thanks to a Ryan Goins RBI. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. New 2017 Civic Type R.
Jose Bautista leading off the second inning for the Blue Jays. It's 0-0, and he gets into this one, cranks it deep down the left field line. It doesn't leave the ballpark, but it comes close, right off the wall. A line drive single off the wall left field is this afternoon's drive of the game. He has also had a sacrifice fly to score the game's first run. He's out of the game as you see him leaving after that sacrifice fly. Maybe his last at bat, his last hit, was this afternoon's drive of the game.
Yeah, he is back on the bench with his teammates, and just got to think what's going through his mind now. Is this his final game as a Blue Jay? Ryan Tepera comes on to pitch the 8th inning. Tepera will face 9-1 Chu for the Yankees. He's had a great season.
Yeah, first time that the Yankees have seen Tepera in this series. In his old spot in the 8th inning, setting up Roberto Osuna. His fastball has been outstanding. His slider has been even better. He has really come into his own this season as a pitcher. It took him a while to develop in the farm system. Remember, he was a starter down in the minor leagues for the Blue Jays. Transitioned into the bullpen, and right now with that 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's easy 96. I mean, that bodes well for the Blue Jays.
Sure does. Ryan will turn 30 in November, but he is certainly in the prime of his career. He has more than doubled his innings total this season. He had a career high 33 innings in 2015. This year, coming into this game, 76 2/3 innings pitched. Just 57 hits allowed for Tepera. I think Ryan has really now recognized how good his stuff is, and it takes a pitcher a while to really trust your stuff. You hear that phrase all the time, but until they can actually see that themselves and how good it is, that sometimes they're reluctant to be aggressive in the strike zone.
Yeah, I think some of the problem that he had early in his major league career was he was giving the hitters too much credit, thinking that he has to be absolutely perfect to get big league hitters out. That's not true. You just concentrate and make your pitch, and you're going to get them out.
You know, we thank everybody that helps us put the show on. We would be remiss if we didn't thank Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn for everything they do on Blue Jays Central. They keep us up to date on everything going around. A couple different Blue Jays Central updates during the course of a game, and we want to thank Jamie and Greg for all their efforts all season long.
Let's don't, as Austin goes down, let's don't forget the Barkman, Kevin Barker.
Kevin Barker, he fills in as well. Another guy that we don't want to forget about, he does some TV with us, is Joe Siddle, who works on the radio with Jerry Howard. Joe comes over and does some TV games for us. So we want to thank everybody involved, and it's been another memorable summer for our baseball broadcast. We want to thank everybody involved. Two more guys that we haven't forgotten. We also must thank Dan Schulman and Matt Devlin for their efforts coming on the show with us as well. And it's a big team. We got a full roster and a very talented roster indeed.
And you know what? We have a lot of fun doing what we do.
Don't tell anybody. They'll want to take our job.
No. It's a pleasure coming to work every day.
Aaron Hicks, he's getting his 4th plate appearance of the afternoon. He's 1 for 3. Hicks has missed a lot of time, so he needs the at-bats. Going to be interesting for Aaron Hicks playing in that game on Tuesday night. He came from the Minnesota Twins, and he'll be playing against his former team in that wild card game.
Yankees hosted the wild card just a couple of years ago. They played the Houston Astros right here in this ballpark and lost.
It is not an easy game by any means. Of course, everybody will remember last year's 11-inning wild card game, and Edwin Encarnacion hit the 3-run home run in the 11th. But the emotions, the stress, the strain of playing in a one-and-done game, it's a lot of fun, a lot of excitement.
Every move is magnified in that. Even the moves you make early in the game, if it's in the 4th inning, if you decide to hit and run and it backfires on you, or you try and bunt to get it, whatever, those things are always going to be magnified in those one-and-done games.
The breaking ball, and Hicks strikes out. Trying to pair a couple of strikeouts here in the 8th inning. You know, one thing that I always thought about when you get to the postseason and you play, you get into these tough situations, a scoreless game in the 6th inning, got a runner at first, and you're thinking to yourself, gee, I wish I would have bunted a couple more times during the regular season.
Practiced and got my team ready for those situations. Well, expect those situations. That's what the games are going to be like. They're all going to be close.
Of course, the managers and coaches, they have to think about that. And there are some times in the course of a season where a manager will say, well, this is the time I'm going to use Torreyes to hit and run. And I want him to do it during the regular season in case he has that opportunity in the postseason.
You know what becomes really important for me in those close games? The stolen base. A little team speed. Boston went out. They got Rajai Davis, I think, to help them with some team speed. That is all important. You know, it's a tie game. You get the first guy on, you put a fast guy to pinch run. He can steal your base, or even better, go first to third on a single.
Minnesota has some team speed. They have 94 stolen bases. They got some guys that can run. Now Gary Sanchez, who will catch that game, he's got a strong arm. But Sanchez also has 13 errors. He's got 13 errors, and he's got, I believe, 14 pass balls. And that is a big number. When you think about 13, he has 16 pass balls.
16 pass balls.
And those extra 90 feet in a tight game against a championship caliber club can prove costly. Reyes throws the bat at the ball and pops it up. Smoke over near the seats. It's back out of play a couple of rows.
We saw that speed on hand personally. Byron Buxton was stealing with ease against the Blue Jays.
That's an interesting name you bring up, Byron Buxton. For many people, they're not really familiar with Byron Buxton, but he's the type of player that can make a name for himself in the postseason. He's got the skill set to take a game over.
Power, speed. That type of skill set. Those are the guys that can take over those types of series.
Reyes again throwing that bat at the ball. Nice play by Refsnyder as he makes a sliding catch that ends the inning. Ryan Tepera with a couple of strikeouts and a pop out. 3 up, 3 down as Goins gets out of the way, and Refsnyder makes a nice sliding catch to end the inning.
Presented by the all-new Honda VersaTach. Meet our ultimate yard work companion with up to 7 interchangeable attachments.
Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. They lost by that score yesterday afternoon, 2-1 to the Yankees. But they are batting in the top of the ninth, and new pitcher for New York is right-hander Ben Heller.
Another one of those tall righties who throws really hard. His fastball's been up to 98 miles an hour. He's got a wipeout slider and a split change. Here are his numbers, just 8 games this year. He spent most of the season down in the minor leagues with their AAA team. Pitched basically out of the bullpen his whole career after he was drafted by the Indians in 2003.
Richard Ureña, 209 for the season. Another breaking ball he swings and misses. It's 0-2. Josh Donaldson did not start in this game. He had a terrific second half to his season. There's another breaking ball and a strikeout for Heller. Donaldson will finish up the season with 33 home runs, 78 RBIs, and just 415 at bats. He dealt with a calf injury early in the season that knocked him out for 38 games, and it took him a while to get his timing back, but boy, in the second half he was one of the most prolific power hitters in baseball.
The series that he had in Minnesota, I mean, one right after another, the home runs, I was just like amazed. It's like every time he swung the bat he was hitting a home run. He did it in Boston too, the beginning of this trip.
Donaldson had 24 home runs after the All-Star break, the most in the American League. He also drove in the most runs in the second half. in the American League. He had 53 RBIs. He was one ahead of Brian Dozier. But a terrific second half for Donaldson.
Didn't think he would get the 30 home runs.
No.
Not the way he started this season. He was on the disabled list a couple times with some injuries, various injuries, but then caught fire after the All-Star break.
Smoke hits one into the outfield. Torres from the outfield grass throws him out. So Smoke with that ground out will finish up his season 1 for 4 if the Yankees don't tie him. The Orioles are losing in Tampa Bay, bottom of the 8th inning. And that's significant because if the Orioles lose and the Blue Jays win, the Blue Jays will be out of the cellar for the first time this year. Orioles and the Blue Jays tied at 75 and 86 start of play today. Michael Saunders grounded out to the first baseman and is only at pat. Roberto Osuna loosening up, having a chat with Dane Johnson. Osuna for the season 38 for 48 in saves. Roberto was second in the American League to Alex Colomé of the Rays. Colomé has 47. Greg Holland and Kenley Jansen are tied in the National League with 41 saves, second most in the majors. The postseason will begin Tuesday night right here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The Minnesota Twins will be here. They will play in the American League wild card game. Wednesday night it'll be the National League wild card game. Colorado Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks. Saunders hits this one to left field. Clinton Frazier is there, and the Blue Jays are done. The top of the ninth. Ben Heller retires the side in order. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. It's a 2-1 game. Roberto Osuna coming into the game looking for his 39th save of the season. Postseason begins on Tuesday, October 3rd, when the Yankees play the Twins in the American League wild card game. That starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It all begins right here on Tuesday. Sportsnet now. Wednesday, the National League wild card game will take place. The Rockies will be in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks. Todd Greinke will start that game. The pitching matchup Tuesday night is a terrific matchup. Irvin Santana for the Twins against Luis Severino for the Yankees.
Here's another terrific pitcher, Roberto Osuna. This will be his 66th game this season. He's 38 for 48 in save opportunities. He has thrown 63 innings. He's walked 9 batters all season long. Look at that, 82 strikeouts and just 9 walks. That's the best strikeout to walk ratio in the American League. And he is 3 for 3 in his last 3 save opportunities. His fastball, his four-seam fastball has been much better.
Tyler Wade, the leadoff hitter here in the ninth. 96. Osuna has gotten back to using that heater. Roberto has 38 saves. Marco Estrada, Jay Happ, they will be back for the 2018 season, no doubt about it. Marcus Stroman, Aaron Sanchez, Joe Biagini, all will be back for sure. Sanchez, of course, making just 8 starts, a total of 36 innings, a very disappointing season for him, but he's optimistic about his getting back on track, getting that finger right. Picking things up.
Get healthy so you can have it. I want to see him out there 30+ times a year. I think the season is totally different for the Blue Jays if he pitches his 30-32 starts.
He won the ERA crown last year. Carlos Ramirez was a pleasant surprise in the month of September. Russell Martin has looked great since he's come off the disabled list, swinging the bat very well, and everybody's optimistic that given the proper rest, he can put up a Russell Martin type of season next year. Osuna looking for his 39th save. That would be second all-time in franchise history behind Dwayne Ward. Ward saved 45 games for the Blue Jays in 1993. Osuna is currently tied with Kelvin Escobar and B.J. Ryan at 38. Full count. It's a 2-1 ball game. Matt Holliday homered in the 7th, the only Yankee run of the afternoon. Blue Jays have 2 runs on 2 hits.
He scored that tie-breaking run without getting the ball out of the infield. Now it's up to Osuna, and he does it again.
Little cutter comes back and strikes out Wade, first out of the inning. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Martin Gaillard. Thank you very much, Martin. And for those of you who have not been paying attention, Giancarlo Stanton with 59 home runs at the start of play today. They put him in the leadoff spot. So that'll be interesting. Here is Matt Holliday. Matt homered back in the 7th with 1 out. His 19th home run of the season, his 3rd home run against the Blue Jays this season.
Got some power hitters you got to deal with here if you're going to save it. You got Holliday with his 19 home runs, and then you got Greg Bird on deck. He was inserted into the game in the 6th inning, and he is looming on deck.
Osuna and Rafi Lopez having trouble getting their hits together on this next pitch. Ball and a strike to Matt Holliday. When in doubt, throw 97 at the knees.
Use that fastball. That last batter, he got ahead 0-2, then tried to pick at the corners and went to 3-2, and then went to that cutter to finish off the at bat to get Wade. That time they got their signals crossed and finally went to the four-seamer and said that's all.
Holiday fights it off. 98. Been a while since we've seen that from Osuna, but that's good to see. He got away from his fastball for a while. I just think the velocity was down a little bit. He didn't trust his fastball, and he went to a lot more cutters.
Cutters and sliders, and that's what I don't think he wants to be known as that. You can use it in certain situations. He got beat with it a couple of times this season. But they've been preaching your best pitch and your greatest asset is your ability to throw strikes. And you throw in the upper 90s. He's got outstanding control. We told you he's had just 9 base on balls all season long. So his best asset is his ability to throw the ball where he wants to.
Ground ball off the end of the bat. Orenia has it across the diamond in time. 2 away.
Well, partner, you've been thanking everybody this day. I want to thank you for everything that you bring to this broadcast. Nothing. I don't think we are as a team without you leading us. So thank you for another great season.
That's very kind of you, but I tell you what, I enjoy it. It's a blast. We get great people to work with every day, and it's been a real pleasure. And we hope to be back in this seat again next year and many years after that. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Pat.
You got it.
97 for a strike. Greg Bird, he's got home run power.
Blue Jays are playing a shift on Bird, but I'm going to keep the ball away from him. That's where Lopez is going, outside.
Yeah, if he hits one to center or left center, tip your cap. But I don't think you throw him anything in the inner half that he can pull.
He is quick. For a big man, he is quick on the inner half like that, so stay away from him.
Change up. 2-1. Well, he missed badly all the way across the plate inside.
You know, that's okay. I think if you look at the situation, you throw fastballs away, keep it away. If you walk them, you end up walking them. You got a young kid on deck, a right-hander also. I know that he'd be the winning run, but I'd rather take my chances with him. Don't need to groove one here. He went cutter.
Cutter got to the 3-2 count.
There's Miguel Andujar.
Andujar hit a double into center field his last time up, but I agree with you. You don't have to be too aggressive to Bird here. Jose Bautista went 1 for 1 with a sac fly. Fly ball, this should do it. Orenia going out, the shortstop out into the outfield, and that's the ball game. Osuna picks up his 39th save. That's second all time to Dwayne Ward. Jose Bautista, if his career indeed comes to an end as a Blue Jay, he had a good finish. He drove in the first run of the ball game today.
Yeah, he ended on a good note with that laser off the wall down the left field line for a hit, and then he drove in the game's first run with that long sacrifice fly to center field. He brought a lot of thrills to fans all throughout Canada with his play, and we'll see how the offseason unwinds. But Jose Bautista